In order for us to make an interesting short story, I think we should start with what makes up a short story.
You know, I think we have discussed that in class. It's called, elements of a short story.
Elements of I think I know that.
Really? Wow, you've impressed me lately. So, what are these?
Well, for me, the earth, the wind, the water, and the fire.
Well, maybe those might come in handy when you're trying to think of a concept for the story. But these elements of a short story, according to my literature teacher, are the structure. It's like baking a cake. You'll need a cake base, the icing, chocolate shavings, and syrup to make it delicious. But how do you make each of those?
Oh.
First element of the story, the character. A character is a person or an animal who takes part in the action of a short story or other literary work. It is the doer of the action and sometimes the narrator. The setting. The setting of a short story is the time and place in which it happens. Authors often use descriptions of landscape, buildings, scenery, seasons, or weather to provide a strong sense of setting. The plot. A plot is a series of events and character actions that relate to the central conflict. The conflict. The conflict is a struggle between two people or things in a short story. Usually, the main character is on one side of the central conflict. On the other side, the main character may struggle against another important character, or against the forces of nature, against society, or even against something inside him or her through emotions, feelings, or decisions. Fifth is the POV, which means point of view, which is defined as the angle from which the story is told. The narrator could be in the POV of the innocent eye, the stream of consciousness, or first person, or omniscient. And the last but not the least is the theme. The theme is the central idea or belief in a short story. This is what the story talks about, thus the general truth. It's commonly expressed through various figures of speech, such as love is blind, or don't judge a book by its cover, or in his case, try and try until you succeed. So for all you future writers out there, here are some important things you should remember. Once again, here are the elements of a short story. The character, a person or an animal who takes part in the action, the doer of the action, and sometimes the narrator. Next is the setting, the time and place in which the story happens. Then we have the plot, a series of events and character actions that relate to the central conflict. Conflict, it is the struggle between two people or things. The main character may struggle against another important character, against the forces of nature, against society, or even against something inside him or her. And finally, the point of view, aka POV, the angle from which the story is told. And to guide you in writing your own short story, here is the story mountain. This is also called the plot mountain, the basic organization of the plot. The story or plot mountain has 5 important elements, namely, the exposition phase, the brief part where you meet the characters and the situation is introduced. The second part is the rising action phase, the unveiling of the trials and obstacles the hero must overcome. Then we have the climax. This is the highest point of the story. The tension has been building, the struggle heats up, the turning point of the story. Next is the falling action, where the events begin to resolve themselves, where our hero conquers the obstacle or defeats the opponent. And last is the Dinoma, the final outcome, the entangling of events in the story.